opportunity. It came from the voice of my sons. But I had a fear about ATVs. And I had a fear that they could flip over. And I mean, there is some fact to that, but I also didn't have a whole lot of trust in my ability to drive one. But my boys so much wanted me to go, and our friends were going, and so I said, okay, I'll go. So my 3 sons, my daughter, and I and others were on this trip, and we went through the town of Cabo San Lucas, and I learned how to make that thing go forward. And I even could make it go up a little slight hill as we climbed up to the top of the sand dunes. We were coming from the town and easy to get to the bluffs. And then down, 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 the sand dunes went up and down all the way to the beach. And after we got on the sand, it was a little squishy and not so stable for me, and my fear started to speak louder to me. So I decided to just sit there at the top while I'm watching my kids and their friends go up and down these sand dunes, laughing, having fun with the sand flying, and I'm sitting at the top just waiting. Well, after a while, my youngest son, Matt, comes up and rides his 4-wheel up to me and says, Mom, come on, come have some fun. To which I say, you know, Matt, I think I'm going to just sit here and enjoy the sunset. He looked over at me and leaned in and said, Mom, don't let fear get in your way. And I kind of wanted to say to him, who raised you? But I thought, you know, he's right. So I just slowly went. Well, going down the sand dunes was pretty easy to do. It was down and up a tiny bit and down more, up a tiny bit and down more, until I was on the hard sand at the beach's edge. I could go horizontally up and down that beach and have a great time watching as the sun was diving down in the sky, getting closer and closer to sunset. Finally, it was time to leave. And everyone was saying, come on, it's time to go, it's time to go. And all the kids started heading up the sand dunes with their ATV underneath them, going up the hills just fine. As I started to go up the first hill I had to go to even get to the second hill, I got about halfway up, and then I would slide down. I did this over and over and over again. I'd get about halfway in the direction I wanted to go, and then it would slide down again. Pretty soon, all the kids realized I was stuck down on the beach, and so they all brought their ATVs back, and they were cheering me. Come on, Mom, you can do it. You can do it. Come on, you can do it. And I get about halfway up and slip back down. Finally, my son-in-law, my daughter's husband, who was born and raised in Mexico City, and just an amazing guy, we call him a Renaissance man, he came over. He didn't want to embarrass me in front of all those who were gathered around, so he whispered in my ear, and he said this, oh, Mama, you have power you are not using. Take your foot off the brake. And all of a sudden I realized that all the power to go up those sand dunes was, of course, in my hands. But as I would make my first hill unconsciously about halfway up, I would let my fear take over, and I actually was putting on the brake, thwarting the momentum and the power to take me where I wanted to go. Well, my life changed that day because I realized that we all have power we are not using, which is our connection to the infinite. We didn't create ourselves. We can't even breathe ourselves. We're part of this life. Something magnificent really is happening with us this day. And we can choose not to go halfway in our dreams. But when we feel afraid, instead of putting on our brake, we open up and let the power of God take us the next step.
That was great. Mary, the sun, when you said that last lesson, the sun came out.